What's going on, Philadelphia? Hello, everybody. My draft night voice is still intact.
Still there.
Oh, baby. That's what I'm saying. That's how excited I am about A.J. Brown. It's how excited I am to see Taylor Gradatis' face and Vince Quinn's face. And for some reason, we're going to wear sunglasses today, and sometimes we do that. So welcome to Bell and the Birdmen as we close in, as the offseason is starting to wind down. We're going to see some of these guys in shells and shorts in a couple of weeks in May. May the 4th be with you, everybody. For everyone that celebrates that, for all the nerds. And I'm sure we'll have something to say about that later.
Yeah, I do have something to say about that.
But, man, I've been thinking a lot over the last 48 hours, which always is sometimes is a bad thing. But it's only making my A.J. Brown hype more. It's only making me love who's going to benefit from him more, which I really do want to discuss with you because I've got some ideas there, including your favorite friend, Dallas Goddard.
All right, yeah, and I've got something spicy there, too.
Oh,
You're going to get excited about that.
I think so. But let me ask you this. Here's the biggest thing that I've been wondering about over the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
Last episode on the tail end, we started talking about Minshew and his value and where people wanted to see him, if they really cared or not, if he was the backup. And to my surprise, no matter if it's a third-round value, which you don't expect to get from Minshew, people want him here. So you even said it on the last episode, which I'm still in shock by. John, this is the first time I'm believing in Jalen Hurts. Full stop. Not all the way, but like you were on the other side of the aisle, way over there, so it's just not going to happen. Now you feel like it is. Is that because of A.J. Brown, by the way?
Well, it's not that I fully believe it is. Now I believe he now he's got a shot, which I really didn't think he had before. I thought we were just kind of killing the clock and hoping for the best on a guy that we like. But now, I mean, he's calling shots within the organization. He just got himself a high-quality wide receiver. That is
best friend.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing. The guy's dying to play with him. So to have him assemble the team like this and have the love and support that he already did within the organization, I mean, this guy is as set up as he's ever going to be. So it is a big change. But for the Eagles now, I mean, my first thought, I woke up on Sunday, and I said they're probably going to win the division.
Yep.
They just are. I mean, Dallas has gone backwards. This offseason has been brutal for them. Brutal.
And they did not have the greatest draft in the world. I don't know if you said that out loud over the last two episodes, but just like very not them type of draft.
Yeah. And so for them to have a weird draft, for them to, I mean, God, they wanted to sign Randy Gregory. They put some clause in that he hates. Apparently all their players have it except Dak, which is a great precedent. And Randy Gregory was like, nah, screw this. I'm going to Denver. Peace. Like, not good. Not good. So Dallas has been a disaster. The Eagles get better, significantly better. And when you think about the A.J. Brown trade and how it defines everything, right? Because thinking about what they wanted to do with the second receiver spot, it was who's the complement to Devontae Smith. Right now, A.J. Brown is better than Devontae Smith.
Without a doubt.
And I love Devontae Smith.
Yeah, it's no disrespect to Devontae
I've said Hall of Famer for Devontae Smith multiple times because I'm a madman and I fully believe in that guy. So for A.J. Brown to be better and push Devontae to number 2 right now, this is something that I wrote about this in the newsletter for full details, but this is the best group of pass catchers that the Eagles have had in my lifetime.
Ever. I've never seen a duo like this before. I don't think there was a duo before this. There was always a Mike Quick. There was always, some Fred Barnett. There was always a guy that stuck out. T.O. is the obvious one we always, pine for. We even said that A.J. Brown is pretty close to that. I don't think there is one. And this isn't based on like, oh, John, this is projection, this is potential. We've already seen what Devontae can do at an NFL level, and we've already seen what A.J. can do at an NFL level. This is, sadly, maybe the best duo in Eagles history.
Well, yeah, it is sad.
Once they are on the field and do their thing.
It is shockingly sad. I mean, the only competition is Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson. It's the only competition. But I think the talent and upside is better with Brown and Smith.
I agree. Yes, they on the books, they still are, but they're going to get blown out of the water with A.J. and Devontae, in my opinion. You want to see my quick impression of Devontae Smith this season, by the way?
Sure.
I'm fucking open. My hands in the air. I'm fucking open. I want to see it again?
I do.
Okay, ready? Here's Devontae Smith. I'm fucking open. That's him this entire season. That's what I think A.J. Brown does, because I feel as though A.J. is going to dominate the middle of the field. Dominate. Like, that is, after reviewing his tape again with way smarter people that break him down. I know Honest NFL, at Honest NFL, if you guys follow that account, apparently is a former current scout that is really excited by that. I think he's a little too gassed up, but like, hey, he has him as a top-level receiver that he can handle any different route that you throw at him, and we'll find out more of that hopefully on Thursday. But he's right. The dig route is his bread and butter. That's crossing the field, going up. That's sluggos, that's slants, that's just like taking care of business there. So if you're focused on that, and then Devontae is your other burner, and then Dallas Goedert, who I think is probably the biggest benefactor of all this.
Oh, yeah.
And Kenny Gainwell. I mean, Jesus, this is, somebody said it in the Discord at some point, but what is this offense missing now? Nothing. It has one of the best offensive lines still. It is upgraded at the wide receiver position. Miles Sanders is still dead weight, but you have an offensive line that's so good to counteract that, and a bunch of other stable Boston Scotts and everything behind. So can this team make a deep playoff run or not? Because we all said A.J. Brown completely flipped this around, and I think I know exactly where the Eagles are at, by the way.
In terms of what?
The Eagles are going all in. There is no quarterback on the horizon. Like I said in the last podcast, I really do want to expand on this.
Okay, you better.
There is less than zero chance that they are investing those first-round picks in Bryce Young. Less than zero.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
How many Super Bowls are won after a quarterback gets paid? So far, none. Right?
It is incredibly rare for
Tom
anybody
Brady?
that isn't Tom. And Tom Brady doesn't count.
Fuck him, he's out.
He literally does not
That
count.
evil genius of his.
And low cap, yeah, no.
Do you believe, and we said this when we were arguing about Russell Wilson deep into the season, do you honestly think that Howie Roseman wants to be known for getting Russell Wilson, or does he want to be the guy that not only traded Carson Wentz, who is utter trash and is enjoying the later end of his career, we can all say that now in Washington, getting a first and third, finding his replacement, and winning a fucking Super Bowl with him? You tell me which road Howie Roseman is on right now and wants to be on.
Yeah, I'll tell you which road.
The smartest guy in the fucking room, and he's
No.
going to invest everything into Jalen Hurts, because if you believe that they can win the division, that means they have a possibility on going on a run, do they not?
They have a chance of going on a run in the NFC. Yeah, the NFC sucks.
Why, if you're staring down the barrel, and in this scenario, you're 6-1, you're 7-0, you're 5-2, and the Rams, they're collapsing. And there's Jalen Ramsey that can be had for another first-round pick, or maybe there's a pass rusher that pops out from a contender that's no longer a contender, and bang, you're there. Are you going to say no? If this team is 5-1 or whatever it is with A.J. Brown, the offense has no problem. We fucking know this team can run. We know it can run. So if you're adding the passing element to it, and everyone, including you at home, is going to be wrong about Hurts, and this man who's coming around to my right is doing the same thing, and if he shows an inkling of getting to where you think you can have him, they're going to go all in this year. This is happening now. They're going to make a run for the Super Bowl, whether we think they're ready or not. And I think they're actually more ready than we think, outside of finding a safety corner.
Well, yeah, they have no secondary to speak of. If you're going to make a move, that's going to be the thing, whether it's right now or at the trade deadline. They got to go and do that, because otherwise they are fucked. I'm sorry. They're not winning shit with the secondary like this. They're going nowhere. They can win a playoff game maybe if you got the right matchup. You're not winning the Super Bowl with this team as it's constructed. You're just not.
Why not?
Because they have no secondary.
Just need one. If James Bradbury, a Kevin King, whatever, that's good enough.
Bradbury's to get Bradbury at this point, a proven veteran, get him out of the division, by the way, and put him on this team. Great. I mean, it's a great addition, and they sorely need it. You still don't have safeties. Injuries can happen. You don't have depth. There's just the secondary scares the shit out of me.
Offensively, you absolutely do.
Well, offensively you do, but yes, you're also playing against great offenses. The teams that are going to make the Super Bowl, most likely great offenses. Even Cincinnati, who I didn't think was all that good last year. Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They can't cover that. The Eagles would lose to the Bengals if they were playing them in the
fine.
Super Bowl.
DeAndre Hopkins just got busted for PED use.
Yeah,
He's
and
got
sadly
8 games.
not beaver tranquilizers, which was a bit. And I saw like 30 people going, beaver tranquilizers. And I was like, wait, I thought that was a joke. Everyone's tweeting about it. Is this real? I thought we had like deer antler spray going on because, thank you, Ray Lewis. I thought that was going on with DeAndre Hopkins. Sadly, not the case. But anyway.
Well, I mean, long enough for them to trade a first for Hollywood Brown. And DeAndre Hopkins.
And that does explain that, doesn't
30.
it?
Yeah, oh, absolutely it does. And DeAndre Hopkins is getting up there and is expensive. So if he comes loose and it's, that he's only got 1 game to go at the trade deadline, or he's going to be available the game after the trade deadline, or however that ends up working out, why wouldn't you spend a first to get rid of him there too? I mean, granted, that's probably more of an AFC trade because they don't want to trade it to a contender, but like, fuck, if it's the right price, I don't think they would care overall.
No.
So I'm just saying, if you think you're a wide receiver short, a pass rusher short, a corner short from being at that elite level from the offensive side of the football, I do think that they have enough to do there as long as Jalen Hurts is passing the ball 30 to 35 times a game.
Well, there you go, though. That we are in the realm of possibility. That's what I'll give you.
It's the offseason, baby. That's the only place we exist.
Well, yes, but no, we were before not in a realm of possibility where it was believable that they could trade for one guy to go for it this year if they were playing well early.
I still think they need one more big piece, but I'm saying it.
Well, yeah, and if they make that, yes, during the season right now, where they are positioned and where the NFC is a conference and where the NFC East is, yeah, I mean, again, I think they're going to win the division. As bad as their secondary is, I think they've got a great chance to go and win this division. So, fine. If you're good enough to be a division winner, could they go and swing a trade for that guy and go make a run? But yes, I don't know what their offense is going to be. Again, best pass catchers I've ever seen in my life. They were a running team last year. Jalen Hurts couldn't throw to the middle of the field. He's got guys that can do it now. Can he do it now? I can't believe it yet. I think he's got a shot, but I don't fully believe in it yet with Jalen Hurts until I see it. And he's got to prove singularly with the team that's this good that he can be that guy, and he is worth making that investment for this year because you do have 2 firsts. You do have 10 picks. You can trade for a quarterback. And this was an interesting point that came up in the Discord. Credit to Ramos, who brought this to our attention. Mike Florio talking about how the NFL's changed. And what is that big change? Well, teams aren't building with the idea of, oh, my God, we need to get that young quarterback now and develop him, at least this year, clearly, because all these guys went in the 3rd and later. So what do you want to do now? Well, you're seeing quarterbacks move left and right all across the country, trade carousel, moving at a rate we've never seen in our lives. Are they setting up now to just, you build a nice home and then you tell the quarterback to come live in it? And the Eagles are a very nice home for a quarterback to live in. So for Jalen Hurts, do I want to go and have to give up 2 first-rounders to trade for some veteran? Would I rather Hurts be the guy? Yes, but he hasn't shown me he's the guy yet. They were a running team last year. Yeah, that was the only way they won games was they were a running team.
What quarterback are you getting with playoff first-round picks, like, again, at 15, 18? I'm sure Howie can make one hell of a deal, but you're still going to have to slice off a pretty significant chunk of your 2024 draft, too, I would assume, if you're going to make that leap for Bryce Young or for whoever it is, if you want to invest in that. Yeah, we can go the whole QB carousel route again if that's how it ends up. But, like, if they're going to win the division, then I'll put it this way. What's the baseline where you don't have to think about investing in Jalen Hurts? Because for me, his get rid of him ceiling is if it's the performance from last year. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Anything below. But anything above that, which I think is hugely achievable this season, what's the point? Because he's still cheap and he's playing really well. He wins the division. They get him to the divisional round and lose in a heartbreaker or whatever it is. Like, I think this team can go to the NFC Championship game, no problem.
I would not say no
as
problem.
As currently constructed, no problem. In terms of, like, of course, it's a fucking battle to get there. There'll be plenty of ups and downs. It won't be a perfect team, but I'm saying they could absolutely do that. That is their ceiling. If everything breaks right, goes right, relatively healthy, 100%, I would feel comfortable saying that.
That is, I mean, it's a dream, but that is the furthest I could possibly consider the idea of right now. I think it's a playoff game. It's maybe a win, and that's about where they shake out right now. But It is nice to say that. I said gap year. Hey, let's ride bikes and get baguettes and work at a coffee shop is what I was saying. I was saying that for months.
Well,
I believe in this team now. I think they're a quality football team.
Here's my other question then. National homer himself, Dan Orlovsky,
Yes.
has the Eagles as the top 5 team after the draft in the NFC. I think that's even a little stretch. Like, I think that's a little, as even hyped up as I am, that's a little too much. I would put them in the mix after the top 5. I think after that it's some mixture of the Saints, Vikings, whatever. But, 49ers, Packers, Cardinals, Bucks, obviously, and I'm missing another on the Rams, right? Like,
yeah.
Those currently right now, I would still put them there. But I think they're in that next tier of 6, 7, 8 somewhere.
Which is exactly, right? Like, that's where it fits. I mean, the best team in the division, and, who knows what the record's going to be, or there are going to be other teams with a better record in the West that get into the playoffs. Yeah, I would bet there's a team that's a 5, 6, 7 seed that is a better record than the Eagles at 4. Let's say. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, and thinking a little bit more about what it's going to do, what's going to take to qualify for me to go and make that investment, and thinking about these other quarterbacks, these other teams in the NFC. Like, I'm not making an all-in move unless they can win a foot race. They got to be able to put up 45 points one game and just outgun another team.
Yeah.
So if we see something like that where you go, oh, wow, Jalen Hurts threw the ball 40 times, 42 times, and he put up 3 touchdowns, and they scored, I don't know, again, 44 or 37 or whatever it is that kind of game goes to, then you can believe. Because he has the pieces for it now.
Yeah,
they're there.
There's nothing to fill in offensively except for extra firepower. I got something else on this real quick, but non-homer himself, Taylor Credatus, is this to a point where you would say that the Eagles even have an opportunity to go that far in the playoffs? Or is this just, hey, this is great, it's A.J. Brown, everybody's hyped up, let's just see where this thing goes?
Realistically, probably a playoff win.
All right.
Not wins. I'd say that's probably the ceiling, but the season following, then, yeah, I think anything's open.
And is that all it's going to take for Hurts, a playoff win this year? And just say keep it moving?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, depending on how it looks. Right, because look, last year's playoff loss was brutal, and he specifically looked brutal.
Yeah, you can't do that against A.J. Brown. He can't stick 10.
No, and they can't be, the number 1 running offense in football because they can't pass.
Well, this is a perfect segue. The Philadelphia Eagles are not and never have been a running team. They are not a running team.
Are you telling me last year they weren't a running team?
They did that completely out of necessity.
Yes.
The reason why they lost games early is because they were trying to make Jalen Hurts chuck the ball 35 times a game from the jump, thinking our wide receivers are great. Quez Watkins is great. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's going to be great. Like, it was a mess. And Zach Ertz, by the way, was still here at the beginning of the year. So there was no, it was weird. There was a breakup with Carson Wentz. There was all this weird shit going on, and no one could find a rhythm, so they just went to, the veer of fucking, essentially, but, their version of the RPO. They're not going to run the football like that at all. Get ready for a complete, if you're expecting them to come out and RPO to death and have just as many rushing attempts as they do passing attempts, you are on so much crack right now. I would like to know what's going on. You are not signing a $100 million wide receiver to run the ball like you did last year. Do you think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, who reportedly were upset about how you
Oh, that was a great report. That was a really funny one.
Good win in Green Bay, but I'm very upset that you scored all those points on the ground.
Yeah.
This team wants to throw so much. It's why Tom House is working with Jalen Hurts. It's why he's working out with Tom Brady. It's why they went and got A.J. Brown. It's why they're going to invest several more picks and go get veteran talent for a Super Bowl run when Vince is proven wrong. But
2023.
Yeah, they are they're not going to run the football, guys.
Well, I don't know.
Like that. And Miles Sanders still sucks.
And he got a lot better.
On, guy. No,
he
did not.
Miles Sanders,
he has been the same
did.
Player every single
he
year.
Got so
since
much
he got
better
drafted.
the last 4 weeks. He got better. He missed all these
He
games.
can only get better.
Can only get better.
Well, he can only get better because he didn't hit the goddamn hole. Now he hits the hole and he looks a lot better. It's fine. He's going to be in rotation with 3 other backs anyway, so I don't want to worry about it too much, including Kennedy
Sorry,
Brooks.
Dom.
Again,
I'm so sorry, Dom. I know
Kennedy
you're yelling
Brooks
at me
train.
right now.
Hop on it with me.
I'm not.
But looking at where the Eagles are going, that's going to be the big question of Sirianni, right? My problem last year with Sirianni was he didn't run the ball early. He didn't, and he should have.
Oh, wait. Shane Steichen.
Both of them, because they don't even,
Shane.
and they didn't
He's
know
the
what the
one
hell was
calling
going on.
plays.
They still don't have it was like, oh well, it would kind of change week to week. They didn't have a clear flow of how anything worked. They had no idea what they were doing. They were totally overmanned. That's what happens with the young staff. So what do they do this year? I mean, are they going to be able to evaluate the roster properly? Are they going to go all in on Jalen right away and say, you know what, we do want to throw 40 times a game. We are going to do this. This is who we are. And if it fails after a couple of weeks, then we'll run the ball? Or are they going to be a little bit more balanced first and see what Hurts looks like and see how the offense responds and go from there? I don't know, but I think that's one of the biggest questions of the whole year.
Big time. But I don't, I feel as though they want to throw a ton. And Shane
They
was not able to do it.
Yeah, and they've got the pieces for it. It's just, can Hurts execute it? And can they scheme it? I don't know.
Yes. I think the scheme part was not anything about last year other than finding that comfortability for sure and finding out what your quarterback can and can't do right now.
Really?
Which, yeah. You don't think so?
We were good with Nick this whole time?
No, I wasn't. No, not at all. I thought it was all – I'm not saying it was good.
They didn't run motion. Yeah, I mean, like, the game with no motion will go down in infamy as a defining moment of the Nick Sirianni era, potentially.
Yeah.
Like, if this thing crashes and burns, I will look back on that as one of the most comical games I've ever seen in my goddamn life. That was hilarious. Like, it's just not possible to do that in the modern NFL. So can he blow this too? That is part of it, right? Because we do talk about Jalen Hurts so much and what he can do, and now the best pass catchers we've ever seen in our lives in this city. And can he build something here with Hurts that is effective? Can he get something out of it? I don't know. And maybe this is the same way we talk about it with Hurts as a make-or-break year. Is it one with Syria? Is it insane to say that? Maybe it is because he got to the playoffs his first year. But if you're going in on the offense like this and the offense sucks and then you want to get another quarterback and Sirianni the guy for that in year 3, like – coaches get fired pretty quickly these days. It is a different NFL. If this was 2010, he's got 3 years minimum. I mean, it's just hard to blow it. But now guys get a year, 2 years, whatever, and they're out of here. Yeah. So it a lot of big questions and more pressure for Sirianni.
I think it's a fair question to ask too. I just for whatever reason I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt from the ways this team adapted. I wrongly called for his firing. We did make fun of him pretty heavily for all the gardening,
Yeah.
That's not changing. We all know that.
I still have the sunflower hat, and I will wear it. Also, I was rooting for him to lose for the Lions, and it is what it is.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's only natural with some new head coaches and where you expect seasons to be. But, yeah, I think it's very possible if both of them go down, we'll probably have a lot of questions about the head coach as well, and that's what's great. It's like I think you're going to get the answer in the first 8 weeks of the season of where the season is going to go.
We might get it in the first 4, which is why that whole idea, like how aggressive are they going to be over a quarter of the season? If they're throwing every game like they were early, then we know. Like that's what they're going for. It works or it doesn't work, and there's hell to pay or there's not. Like if they have to revert to being a running team like they did last year, this year,
forget it. Throw everything out and probably
everything's
glue the
gone.
Yeah, but they were definitely trying to run the air raid last year. Felt like it. Like remember when everybody was starting to compare your boy Russell Wilson's or your ex-boy's Russell Wilson's charts, and then like comparing that to where Jalen Hurts was throwing and how much he was throwing, they almost looked identical. Yeah, they're just throw it down the field, even if this is the very analytical, even if you're 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, who cares? Like, that's a large opportunity to go score points if we're here instead of there. So I get it, and I'm excited for it. And I don't know, T doesn't seem too excited about it. He's just very –
Well, I was actually looking at the over-unders for regular season.
Ooh.
Okay.
Can I – I haven't looked. Have you?
I haven't looked.
Well, I'll give one hint. They haven't changed since the draft.
Okay. So I'm going to say that is 8.5. The wins on the over-under for this year.
Vince?
That's my guess.
Yeah, I think I saw that. So cheating, not knowing. Yeah, I would say 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. And
Take
what
me over.
What would
everybody.
you say to make the playoffs is? Now this is plus
how many
minus
wins they-
money. No, plus minus to make the playoffs.
Okay, and that's
Oh.
not win the division. That's just make the
Make
playoffs.
the playoffs.
They are minus 110.
Yeah, I was gonna say minus 150.
Minus 115, yes. Minus 105, no.
Wow. So it's really, it's pretty tight, even though the better odds are on no, which is good.
So everybody thinks they're average.
Good. This is a great place to be.
Yeah, it's
You know,
a
it's a
lot
great
of
place to be.
Yeah, well, based on where this team is and all the mystery around it, it's pretty fair. And yeah, the upside is really great where we're talking about a playoff win, or for your case, I don't know, 8 playoff wins. We beat
Hell
everybody.
yeah.
It's like Mortal Kombat out there as we're climbing the totem. And, the other side is we crash and burn and we hate everything and we draft a new quarterback next year. So
That's okay,
fun. Let me bring up something, by the way, that I saw earlier today. So the A.J. Brown contract, right? So he just signed the deal and they're talking like, 4 years, $100 million. I was looking at the numbers. This is a steal. Like, this is a bigger steal than anybody, I think, realizes. So, listen to this. I'm going through the numbers of the contract. First couple of years. This year, $5.6 million. Next year, $8.5 million. Year 3, $28. So you go, okay.
Okay,
now,
there
28.
we go. You rework that bad boy in year 3. Got it.
Year 4, $23 million. Now, it adds up to 65. Here's where it's important, okay? The Titans were supposedly offering A.J. Brown about $16 million a year. He hated that. He wanted out. He comes to Philly. He signs the deal. Over those 4 years, you know how much he averages? $16.25 million. They got him for the same deal. Like, they got it for
Leasing
the same
cap,
deal.
yeah.
And Vince, there's one other year, and it's $37 million. Yeah, it is. And you can take that year and throw it in the trash. It will not happen. It does not matter. It does not exist. It means nothing.
Oh, they're reworking that in year 3 by that
Yes,
total.
they're
baby.
either reworking it or he gets cut. Because here's what's going to happen. He's worth $37 million that year. So this is 5 years from now. So who cares? But he's worth $37 million that year. His dead cap hit is 8.
And what was his guarantee again? 54 out of the 100?
Yeah, I didn't even have that because the numbers are so shockingly low with everything
that's
else.
Crazy, man.
They would save $29 million by cutting him in that final year when his money is actually going to be commensurate with the market. They're going to have him at, I put this out earlier, when he's going to make $23 million in 2025, that is the steal of the league.
Oh my God, yes.
Like-
if we believe that we all agree A.J. Brown's going to be top in 2 years and all of this and exactly what we kind of debated about on you should just pay a wide receiver now in this market because you brought up how much the cap is potentially going up over the next 2 years. And Jesus, there'll be so much room to renegotiate that in year 3. It's Howie and everybody else over there. Well done again.
I got you, bro. You know, I've been doing this for a while. I got you, bro. So don't worry about it, man. You see that? How funny was that?
He's like, yeah. Who was he interviewing? John Clark?
He was talking with Angelo.
Oh, it was Angelo?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Because Angelo was like, Howard Roseman, I need to know something. Is this a championship team or not? And then Howie was like, oh, Andrew, we're doing this in March, man. Come on, we can't do this. May, can we wait? I'll talk to you in September about it. But it was like a typical court jester Howie.
There you go. I saw the other clip. It must have been from Rube or one of their pods, but he came on and just said, like, can you imagine Philadelphia's reaction if there was a report that came out that they were going to close a deal with A.J. Brown and it didn't happen? He's like, Philadelphia.
Yep.
Woo. And I'd be like, that's right, motherfucker. I'd be the first one in line knocking on your door every single day. Why didn't you just pay up the third?
Yeah, we would have killed him.
Why didn't you just give him an extra first? Like, yeah, so he was right. I was slightly wrong. We both were. But in the end, we're sitting here with probably 2 of the best wide receivers that this Eagles team has ever had, which he definitely wants to say as well. And then the other thing that the Cam Jurgens thing, we haven't really touched on that much.
I don't even know if we've said his name on the pod yet.
Just very briefly in terms, and I'll reiterate it again. Hilarious that everyone just assumed that Landon Dickerson was going to be the sender, or Salem Malu, or even Herbig, who gets cut because of drafting Cam Jurgens. They obviously went after a guy that can really play center, not necessarily guard. Now that I've kind of re-racked his tape a little bit, I understand, like, okay, he could probably play guard. could definitely probably play guard, or at least at a Herbig type of level. So I understand that. But like, question answered. They need somebody to absolutely replace Jason Kelce, not like groom a guy and flip over Dickerson or whatever. I'm so glad that's happening. And Howie also didn't lie about this. They gave him a high-level talent to finally fucking work with. It's been a long time since I think that. When's the last high-level O-line that they gave Stout, since that relationship was kind of formed since 2016? Can you think of anybody?
Well, I mean, Dillard was a first-rounder. He didn't work out. And, I mean, Dickerson was a second-rounder only because he had the injury.
Yeah, that's true, too. I
so,
guess
I mean, they've made some investments.
last year?
Yeah, like last year.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess I added such an important position. They haven't really given him a center. So there,
Well,
I'll rework it so I sound a little bit smarter, not dumb.
Well, that's the weird thing about all this. Because I think it answers a lot of questions that we talked about and I was curious about. Because Kelce, first off, he says when he's talking about Jurgens, he's like, yeah, this is the best center prospect I've seen in 3 to 5 years.
Which first of all, how dare you? He's from Nebraska. No one can be from that way.
It's a hell of a statement, right? Like, it's a hell of a statement though for him to say that. And you're thinking about it because Landon Dickerson's on the team. Like, you drafted this guy as a center out of Alabama with all of these traits. They love his personality. He's won awards. The team loved him there. They go and draft this guy. He's there for a year. Was he not the understudy that whole year? Was he learning from Kelce at all? What did he teach him? How involved was that? Was there an expectation that he was going to be the future center? I would think so. And when did that change? You know what I mean? There's so many questions about
when
that
he was so fucking good at playing guard and blowing everybody up.
And I guess that's what it was, right? Like, at some
don't
point,
move him. Yeah.
In the middle of the season, Kelce might have just been like, guys, just don't fucking change it. If he's there and he's happy, I love having him next to me. Just leave it, let it ride. He's great there. Everyone was like, yes, this is what we should do.
This is exactly what's going to happen, and pay you $14 million to teach Cam Jurgens. He's like, what's his face in Major League? Tom Brenneman's. He's like Tom Brenneman's role. He's coming in as like the old veteran.
Nick Castellanos.
He's Nick Castellanos. I can't believe that everybody's going to yell at me. But, like, he's totally that. He's the veteran catcher that's just going to, like, help out Rube and, you know, and roll on here.
Yeah, so it's one, cool to see, right? Because it's Kelce. Everybody loves Kelce for the Eagles to go, hey, man, we know you're retiring soon, and how about you help us pick the next guy? And for Kelce to be so in on that, and by the way, I mean, for him to say the best center prospect in the last 3 to 5 years, he's been scouting for that long? Does he just do that on his own? Like, I wonder how long he's been involved in. Has he always been looking towards a replacement?
Saying it to hype up his boy that he just.
And maybe it's all bullshit, and I'm just eating it up. But I see all that. That was so curious to me for him to go in like that. And then I think about this relationship, like, how does Cam Jurgens and his existence with the Eagles affect Kelce in terms of, like, on the downside? Let's say he sucks this year. Let's say Jurgens comes in and he looks awful. He just, for whatever reason, he can't quite figure it out. Kelce's teaching him stuff. He can't pick it up at the rate. Does Kelce stick around for a year if Jurgens gets hurt? Maybe he gets hurt in training camp. He tears his ACL. He has some major injury. He misses a lot of time. If he doesn't miss the whole year, does Kelce go, well, I'm training this guy, but he's not quite ready, and, like, I guess I could do one more year. You know, I wonder how that – it's just something in the back burner to, like, how is Jurgens going to affect Kelce? How does that move? How are the reports through training camp, mini camp, all that kind of stuff? Preseason.
Yeah.
What does he look like? Because if he looks amazing by the end of this year, Kelce's probably done.
Yeah, I think he's got I mean, just because Stoutland's here, I think he's got an amazing chance to work out and be fantastic. You know, I don't know if they're going to build another Hall of Fame center or anything like that, but they're going to get really good center play out of this dude for sure. To your point,
I think so too.
I feel as though no matter what, this is it. Like, $14 million probably had to be that to convince him to be like, okay, I'll stick around. And maybe this is just me eating up some of this too, but do you have the impression that Kelce wants to hang around for a while and kind of get involved with the organization from a front office side? I don't know if that's what Connor Barwin's necessarily doing, but, like, it seems Jason doesn't want to be the Eagles outreach dude after he's in retirement. He'll just do his own thing. He'll hang out with Lefko every now and again and kind of have his other side job of just, like, scouting players and centers and helping Stoutland and all that other shit.
Okay, well, yeah, let's get this hype train rolling, all right? This is the radio caller dream of a lifetime. Okay, Jason Kelce retires. He joins the Philadelphia Eagles. He is the understudy of Jess Stoutland. He's there for 10 years. Stoutland retires. Jason Kelce takes over as your offensive line coach, and he leads the Eagles to another Super Bowl.
Dude.
As the offensive line coach is the dream for people. That is it right there. I mean, the number of times I have heard people call into WIP, and they were like, hey, Vince, think Brian Dawkins should be the defensive coordinator.
What if Seth Joyner?
Yeah, and he's the other guy. It's always those two. It's always those two. It's always Brian Dawkins and Seth Joyner. But one of them needs to coach the team, and that's the guy. So, like, if Kelce is the next 20 years of that guy, that would be the funniest thing ever.
Honorable mention in the next 76ers head coach is Allen Iverson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's not Jay Wright, it's Allen Iverson.
Mr.
So.
Practice himself.
But I do think legitimately, either from a coaching side, which for some dumb reason I didn't even think about, that would be an obvious fit, but it does – everyone says the same thing. Like, he's one of the smartest people to do this. He studies tape all the time. He understands this and that. I think he'll take a year or two off and be a dad for a while and hang out and then
Be a human.
scratch the itch. Yeah,
A
be
regular human, you know.
Yeah.
Make everybody forget the Super Bowl speech for maybe a minute or two. Well, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But
No, that's not going to happen. But the separation is good, right? Because
Yeah.
to go from immediately being a player to transitioning with, I mean, really no time in between,
yeah.
it's just kind of weird. Take a year off, reset. Everybody gets used to you being gone. You know, you come back, it's different. Like that's probably the play if he does it.
But do you think there are a lot of people worried about the Cam Jurgens pick for a lot of those reasons? Like, I don't think he's going to be bad. At worst, I think he's a very good backup that you have that just doesn't end up working out.
Yeah,
There's something about him that, like, and granted, Jason Kelce knows more about this than I do, but there's something about him that just doesn't do it for me. I see the athleticism and the power, the length. Like, this is a perfect Greek god of what you would want to try and develop at center. I just don't see the pizzazz. I see the beef. I see the power for sure. So I'm a little hesitant.
he just didn't go to Iowa.
And that too. Nebraska corn sucks. So, like, automatically short arms equal more power, where in Nebraska longer arms mean, I'm a wimp. I'm trying to justify it any way I can. Really.
Welcome to my side of the Kyle Hamilton argument.
I don't.
It's the same vibe.
I don't look at a guy that does anything special, but that's why I'm not a scout either. So.
Yeah, the thing, other like low key thing they mentioned about him that they love. One is his nickname is supposedly Beef Jurgens. So I love that. Give me Beef
Okay,
Jurgens.
I'm back. I'm
So,
back.
There you go. He's back.
If you add like Beef Jurgens and the fact that he practices his like offsets with a bull or a cow that like just goes around in the middle of the fencing. Or did you guys see that?
I did not see
Yeah,
that. He practices with
on
a
his,
cow.
He works on his footwork, like his slide steps back and forth based on like how the cow is running to his left or to his right. So
Wow.
that is some country boy fucking workouts, and I'm all about it.
Well, they do love country boys, right? I mean,
All of
Dickerson,
them,
Lane
yeah.
Johnson. Well, my lot in Australia is a whole different country boy.
That
But,
works.
Yeah, it counts.
He sings. It's the same thing.
So that's all there. But the other commonality, especially with him and Dickerson, when talking about these replacement center guys that they've now taken, they say he's nasty as hell.
Oh,
I
he's
mean,
nasty.
Just
He's
super nasty guy.
Yeah.
And for him, he did this interview with Rich Eisen, which if you're looking at for the thing to check out, Eisen was basically like, so how many guys have you pissed off when you play? And he's like, it's so many that I don't even worry about it. I don't have a number in my head. It's like everybody.
Yes.
So, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Works for me.
That's something you always need, and like he's it's a little. To be honest, it's a little diverting from a Kelce type, and I don't even know if that's what they had when they intended to draft Jason Kelce. Anyway, we all know his story. It's clearly not, but like he's such a bigger frame, not as fast out of his first steps as someone like a Tyler Linderbaum or whatever it is. But if he gets a hold of you, it's over. That's what I really, really like about him. So he's going to play some guard this year.
Well, maybe.
I mean, it's just you
got to figure they.
No doubt about it.
Do they cross trade him? I guess
You have to.
I guess they do, but it's just one of those things. I don't know if he is like the protege. I don't know if it's worth putting that in his head right now.
I don't even care if he sits the entire year. I don't think he should.
That would be the plan.
But I'm fine if he sits the entire year.
Yeah, I would figure that's the expectation. You have all these other guys that you can play, right? You do have Sayamalu, so he's hanging around. You do have Driscoll, so he's played guard as well. I mean, think about this. Like, they are so deep at this position and so well stocked with flexibility that they did just cut Nate Herbig. Now, say what you will about Nate Herbig. He's like 23 years old. He plays multiple positions. He's started games, and he hasn't been bad. He's been okay. No team does that. This is the only team in the NFL that can identify a guy like Nate Herbig and go, we don't need you.
Yeah, you're fine.
We don't need you. That's unbelievable. Like, it is insane that the Eagles just cut Nate Herbig. It just doesn't happen. I don't even know in this era of them developing linemen for the last 20 years, if there's ever been a guy as established and flexible as Herbig that has been released from this team.
Yep. And
I don't think it's happened.
No, but you want to know why? Because Driscoll can play guard too. I just remembered that.
Well, yeah.
So if Dickerson's first down, Driscoll's probably still first up. Cam's your emergency guard at that point, and that's not. I mean, if that's your emergency guard, Jesus Christ, that's amazing depth. So
yeah,
same thing there too. Like if Lane goes down, then that kind of changes the situation. He'd probably be up there, and Driscoll to the right side, and until he can kind of maintain that. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be a bad pick either way. I think it's just. I think what would be a miss? I guess if he ends up being a backup, that's a miss.
Yeah, if he's I mean, if you took him in the second round, you're selling this prodigy angle, and yeah, I mean, look, I was hesitant about. I didn't want a center in the first.
Because you're an idiot.
I mean, Howie doesn't listen to what I say, and maybe I am an idiot, but damn it, I'm an idiot that's right occasionally, and you'll see that when Kyle Hamilton makes the Pro Bowl.
I'm probably still the idiot, but that's okay.
So. Yeah, but it's just looking at this spot now, it's okay. Taking him, in the 50s or whatever they took him in the second round, that's fine. They clearly value center. You make a lot of calls. That's why they want to train him. So for the Eagles, center matters more than it does for other teams. I get it.
Yeah, and I am gladly taking A.J. Brown and Jordan Davis and then Cam Jurgens as opposed to, pining over some slapdick Iowa lineman, right? Am I right at this point?
Right.
That being said, May the 4th be with you to everyone out there, and not Taylor Credatus because it's not his thing, Too
boring.
Too cool for school.
They're just boring movies.
See, this is why I wish the new ones never came out because, of course, if you just stopped with the three and you put them in the Smithsonian and George Lucas just rode out into the sun, it'd be one of the greatest holidays in the world. But there's too much. It's his generation. It's not my fault.
There's a lot of it, and it's not great. Yeah, it's just not great.
And you had the audacity to say Star Trek is better.
It is,
even though coming out, there's no Star Trek without Star Wars.
Wrong.
And it's totally true.
It started first.
The television show started first.
Yes.
And guess what? It was corny as shit. It was like watching Guiding Light during the afternoon. That was how bad that fucking script is. It's so bad.
It was a game-changing social commentary.
Yeah, it was game-changing. It was so game-changing that when they made the first movie ever, it sucked so bad they reconsidered never doing a second one. Then Star Wars comes along and go, oh, we can do that shit in space? Oh, that seems interesting. Oh, and there's an actual storyline and all this other weird shit and lightsabers and fights and there's good and bad shit happening all the time. Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Come on. Star Trek is boring as hell.
That is not true. Have you seen the recent movies with Chris Pine?
Yeah, they're all badass. They're all badass. And so was The Wrath of Khan, but it was all post Star Wars coming out.
Okay, but so Star Trek's first, then Star Wars is after. Star Wars has better movies in the 70s and 80s, and now Star Trek is better again.
Yeah, but
it's better. Is it better right now?
J.J.
Is
Abrams.
It better right now?
J.J. Abrams did both.
And what was better?
Star Trek.
Thank you.
But that's because fucking George Lucas's grave is so far removed from.
The writing is so much better. The action is great. It's not all Disney selling property. It's like, let's make great badass movies and have some level of real social commentary to it. And they did that.
Yeah.
They do the damn thing. They say something.
Yeah, you got to respect the goats.
Star Wars is a glorified toy commercial.
Now it is, yes. Absolutely it is. But they're selling my nostalgia back to me, and until I hear otherwise, I didn't want to play with fucking Captain Kirk's figurines.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I didn't want to become Spock.
Which is funny because I think you are more of a Captain Kirk and I am more of a Spock.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right? I
yeah.
think we have that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I'm very much take that fucking ship and ram it right now. Yeah, I am. Yeah, actually, doesn't he say that in the movie? I don't believe in what's the line? It's such a good line when he's doing the Kobayashi Maru test.
Not that good.
We'll Google it.
Yeah, we'll Google it. Everybody knows at home what I'm talking about. But leap without jumping. What the fuck does he tell him? Ha! I don't believe in no-win scenarios. There it is.
Just to piss you off.
There it is.
Oh, okay. There
I
we go.
don't believe in no-win scenarios,
Oh.
and that is very much my mentality as well.
There you go.
Which gets me in trouble all the time. See? Anyway, take us home, Spock.
All right, well, that is our episode of Bell of the Birdmen. If you haven't, by the way, because one of the things that we're doing, we're building a lot of things around here. The Discord has been just bumping. I mean, all through the draft, it has been absolutely amazing. Post-draft analysis now that DeAndre Hopkins is suspended and tranquilizers that didn't happen, quarterback team building, all that stuff. That Discord's been wild. Check out the Discord. Join us there. You can find it at our website, bellandthebirdmen.com. And again, the newsletter. So I wrote a whole thing about all these receiving groups of the Eagles past and where they compare with the Eagles now and why this group is better. It's in the newsletter. Go check it out. You can find that at bellandthebirdmen.com. So, my friends, thank you for listening. Live long and prosper.